Good evening, traders. Watashi Wa here with another video. And this video is to show some of the new people how to set up a full GKD system, just like the signals that you see on Telegram and Twitter. And this is also useful for other people if they want to know how the GKD system works. I'm going to show you how easy it is. So let's get started. First off, let's go through the signal here so you guys understand what's going on. We'll turn this off and let me ramp this up a little bit so you can read. So we have a volatility and volume entry. There's about 20 different types of signals. Actually, I think there's about 28 different types of signals that come through the full GKD system. It's from the exchange Binance, obviously. Data USDT, 1440 minutes is daily. These are timestamps just to kind of prove the point. Nobody even asked me for these. It's just easier to show backtest results when you have the actual timestamp. And some people might think, well, some of these results are so absurdly high that how could it be real? Well, you can check them yourselves from when the timestamp happened. We have right here that since September 1st of last year, and that's the 10 most recent, it's an 80% win rate for longs on data USDT. Statistics, profit factor 3.329. None of this has anything to do with trading on margin or anything like that. This is just raw, no margin whatsoever. Average bars per trade, that means the average trade took 2 days. Volatility, 11.35%. That's just based on ATR or average true range. So on average, price moves about 11%, but this is only based on the last 15 days. So if you were to take this volatility and test it over year range, it might be a little more accurate, but we're only concerned with the 15 days. That's what we're dealing with. Profit taking, we'll go over this another time, but essentially, if you enter a trade, then when you hit take profit one, you remove 50% at take profit one. So if you buy, let's say, 10 Bitcoin, you hit take profit one, you sell off 5 of them. So you're left with 5 Bitcoin. When you hit take profit two, you take that 5 and you split it in half again, which is 25% of the total. So you would sell 2.5 Bitcoin on take profit two and then 2.5 at take profit three, or you would set a moving stop loss to where when price keeps moving upward in a parabolic fashion, you don't exit the trade until it pulls back somewhere like 1.5 times volatility. So in this case, it would be 1.5 times 11%. So if price moved down something like that in a day, then you would exit the trade. And that you can set all of that up to be automated using different services. I think Thinkorswim has the service for stocks, and then 3 Commas has the service for cryptocurrency, and then MetaTrader has the service for Forex. And you can find people that have built indicators in MetaTrader that have done that you can just download for free. And I explain that right here. You see that? 0.5 to 1.5 times volatility. Signal details, this shows you where you enter and exit, right? That's pretty simple. And this is, we're starting at 4 and then we're going to 4.5 because it's a long. Techniques, this is kind of redundant. I don't know why I have this redundancy, but I do. That might be something that I remove in the future. Now, this is what we're going to talk about now, the indicators used. Let me delete all this crap. We're going to go in there and delete this crap because we're going to focus on how to set this up. Okay. Also, if you want to sign up for VIP, there's the info right there. If you want access to these indicators, there you go. Patreon. Or if you want to get a discount, it's $300 quarterly, $1,100 yearly, or $2,000 lifetime. Keep that in mind. Let's erase that too. And there we go. We're left with these guts, right? So let's see what we do. Start adding stuff to the screen. So we're going to start with GKDC. chart mill right there. And then Dorsey inertia. And then we have GKD-V volat meter, right? And then we have this one right here. There's so many different types of back tests that sometimes it's hard to find, as you can see. But it's even harder to find the confirmation indicators. There it is right there. And then I forgot the baseline right here, right? So we'll do GKD-BT. And then, oops, not that one. Multi-ticker baseline. GKD-B. So we have them on the screen, right? Now, we look at the signal. And the signal says special trigger. So that's the baseline, right? Let's go into the baseline. Oops, right here. Trigger type, trigger type, source, special. There you go. Now it's still not going to load. It's still going to have that error, right? It's because we haven't entered any tickers, and we'll do that in a second. Chart mill. Actually, let's just do the tickers right now. And we're going to put the background here on Bitcoin. Otherwise, it's not going to match up the tickers to the right information we want. And then we're going to go to our lists of tickers here. And I've posted this. You guys have access to this. This is public information. I think I posted this in chat somewhere. And then let's just search data. There you go. That's the one that we're looking at. Let's paste these into the baseline, right? Oh, that's a different screen. I wonder if we can get this thing back over here. There we go. Let me X that and then paste it here on Bitcoin where we're at. There we go. Okay. So we're back. All right. So we pasted the tickers into the baseline. We changed this trigger to special, right? Yep. And let me actually turn this off while we're doing this because it's going to be annoying. All right. Now we go into the back test. Oops. Let's go back into this and copy them again. And go back into the back test and we say, yep, paste them in there. It's still not going to show anything. It's still going to show an error because we've not connected anything. Then we go into these confirmation indicators and otherwise. We say confirmation type multi-ticker, then paste the tickers in there. Don't change anything else. Because look, the instructions don't say to change anything else. Settings default. So don't change anything. Multi-ticker, again, paste the tickers. It doesn't matter what order you do these in. I mean, you can change this and then paste the tickers if you want. But when you do that, it's going to freak you out because it'll show an error. And in fact, I didn't do the right, let's do the right one. We didn't want volatility ratio. We wanted volat meter. So we got the multi-ticker there. Right, so what we did is we just added all these, right? Chart mill value, default settings, Dorsey inertia, default settings, volat meter. Oh, we did a proxy of Bitcoin. I'll show you how that works in a second. But we don't have a continuation and we don't have an exit, right? So what does that mean? All right, so let's go into the back test and connect these up. Baseline. Since we're doing multi-ticker, it's right here. We're going to connect this one up. Multi-ticker baseline, input a new GKD multi-ticker backtest. Done. Volat meter. The value is right here. Volat meter. Input into new GKD-BT multi-ticker backtest. Done. Confirmation 1. We're doing chart mill value, so it's right here. New GKD-BT multi-ticker backtest. Confirmation 2. Right here, C2. So this is confirmation 1. Confirmation 2 is Dorsey inertia. Right here, look at this. New GKD-BT multi-ticker backtest. And then we're not using a continuation, but we still need to fill in the box, okay? Continuation is NA. What do we fill it in with? Well, it doesn't really matter, but it has to be a value that's multi-ticker backtest. So we're just going to say Dorsey inertia. But don't look at these results right now. In fact, I'm going to put this over here because the results aren't going to be accurate yet. Okay. We scroll down here, and in these indicators, we have no Goldilocks minimum or maximum, and we don't have a continuation. So turn off the continuation signals. Off. They're off. Now turn off the Goldilocks zones. That's off on that signal type. Now it's off on that signal type. Each one has their own Goldilocks zones. And I'll explain what those are later. Off. Yep. Uh-huh. And make sure you read these because some of them are in the third position instead of the second one. And now we're going to go down here and we're going to say 2023. And it's 9. Let's pop that in here. Let's see what we have. Now, you might say, oh, the signal is done, but it's not done. Even though what we have right here is exactly what we saw, almost, right? It's almost what we saw in the signal previously. In the signal previously, it was something like 10 trades or something like that, an 80% hit rate. But here, we're seeing from September 1st through January, or sorry, through today, that instead it's actually 85%. So what's going on there? Well, I'll show you here in a second. But take a look at that right there. That's important, right? And also, what does this mean right here? It means that this didn't hit a threshold of 70%, or sorry, 69%. So it's not going to highlight green. And what does it mean when this is not green? Well, it has to be above 1.9 profit factor. Okay, so that's the cutoff that I use. All right. So why is data doing so well here, but the signal says that it's only 80%? Okay, it's because of this right here, BTC USDT proxy. Now, I didn't have to do this, but on this signal I did for whatever reason. And how do you make it a proxy? Well, here's how you do that. Erase and we're inside the volatility indicator. You change this to BTC USDT. It wiped everything out. Let's start putting it together. We have to do 10 tickers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I might have messed that up, but it will tell me if I did or not. There you go. Now look at that. Data. Now, it probably wasn't a good idea for me to do that in this case because look, I think we actually did worse by using the Bitcoin proxy, right? So you have to kind of do that calculus in your brain and figure out if I'm a moron for making the proxy decision. But let's take it one step further. So we have the proxy right here, right? And this now matches the back test that you guys are seeing on the Twitter and Telegram. Now, let's say that we want to go one step further. We want to use Bitcoin trend too. What if we did that? What happens? Even worse, right? So we don't want to do that. There we go. So you could, in this situation, replace all of the volatility with Bitcoin. You could replace all of the trend with Bitcoin. So it pulls in the Bitcoin and volatility trend to make the signal. I wouldn't necessarily ever do that with the confirmation indicators, but you could do the same thing here. If you want to do Bitcoin in there, I wouldn't do this, but you can. Well, maybe that was a good idea with this one, right? But you can see what happens, right? You won't be able to do this with any other indicators out there that are public because they just don't do this, right? So this is a feature that is only inside the GKD indicators, right? But this is kind of interesting. So what do we have here? We have Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin. And then we have the price coming in from all of these different tickers, but it's making decisions based on Bitcoin confirmation 2 with chart mill value. So think about what that means. What does it mean? Spooky. Let's go back to just normalcy now. And we'll paste all of these back in here. And even though it's not going to match the back test, well, it matches now, but I'm going to unmatch it because we're just doing normal stuff right now. So now everything is lined up where these are all corresponding to the right ticker type. So that's it. We just set up the full GKD system as you see on Telegram and Twitter, right? So let me erase this, and then we're going to go one step further and show you how easy this is to move around. All right. Let me make these smaller here so we can see what's going on. So you want to go through and test some stuff, right? In fact, let's keep it to where it's at with the back test BTC USDT, so you can see them on Telegram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is the setup we have on Telegram. Let's go through these. This is what I do. You can check 400 tickers in about a half hour by just pumping these in there without thinking much at all. You look at what's green. You can screenshot these if you want to and push them into AI, like Google Gemini 1.5, and it will do all the calculations for you to determine how much coverage you have overall of cryptocurrency, right? And this is every single cryptocurrency pair from Binance. So that's not too bad. I mean, obviously we'd like it to be green across the board. Just keep copying and pasting them over. You just burn through all of them quickly, right? That's not that great. Oh, and you know why? It's because I'm a moron. I mean, it might not be that great anyways, but I keep on doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I shouldn't change that, but anyways, there you go. Now it's true again, but that's not that great. Let's keep going. There you go. So some of these are heading pretty nice. Now this means absolutely nothing because they're all alphabetically, organized. So it's not like there's some pattern in there unless somebody is doing some weird stuff with what letters they choose to name their cryptocurrency the first one. I'm sure they are, but I don't know what that is. So there we go. So that's how quick it goes, right? Now, if we want to go over to switch it up a little bit, how does this test with Forex and stuff? First thing you want to do is change this to Euro because we're on the OAND exchange and we're using Forex. So let's swap these tickers out now. Now, we don't want to do this because this is going to mess you up. And the thing about these, what you just saw there, it's accurate if you wanted to do that, but I wouldn't do that. It's going to be very confusing to trade on a Euro chart cryptocurrency that's not even on the same exchange times. And I don't think this one's going to work out very well because it's not tuned for Euro, but we'll see. Yeah, it's not great. We could check on stocks. We do Mag 7. What does that look like? Okay, there we go. And I'll show you what to do here that's different. And notice we're not changing anything weird with volatility. We're just straight across the board pasting tickers. Very simple, right? We're going to want to switch the background here to SPY. Let me save this because it might time out the chart. And if it does, well, it's not great there either. And that's fine. This one set up right here was built mainly for cryptocurrency. But it gives you an idea of what this thing looks like, right? If we go here, we can start changing some options. I don't think it's going to help it, but we change that from special to source. What does it do for us? Not much. Now, what if we go into the back test and we say, hey, let's turn on one of the Goldilocks zones. Let's turn on maximum. And I'll show you what that means here in a second. Because some of the stock symbols are with the maximum turned on. And that's what it looks like right here. So we have maximum turned on. There you go. And so the maximum, what that's doing is it's filtering, and I'll show you why right here. The Goldilocks zone is yellow. right here. So if you have the Goldilocks zone on right here, then price has to be inside this Goldilocks zone for the trade to be qualified. What we've done is we turned on maximum Goldilocks zone. So this long right here, you wouldn't take this trade because it moved outside of this zone. It closed here, and you would normally take the trade here, and that would have been a good trade. You can see right here, right? If you were to take this trade right here, you would have won big time, right? But Goldilocks zone says, nope, you're not taking that trade. Okay. Now, the SPY isn't in these tickers, and that doesn't matter because this data right here is built on SPY. These indicator values and the view is built on SPY. So that's going to be confusing, but we'll go over that another time. But you see right here, this one wouldn't be taken at all. So keep that in mind. But if we were to go back into the back test and turn these off again, then you would have taken this trade. Now, what if we go full strict? What if we turn on the minimum too, right? Let's do that and see what happens. And this is keeping things very, very strict. How strict can we go? Well, we knocked out a few trades there, but now we're getting more accuracy. But is it worth it? Question. And I was going to say question mark because I'm talking to AI all day. Was it worth it? Maybe, but I don't know. We only have two trades right there, so we don't have much backtest data. I mean, we can change that if we want and see how robust this is, going back in time. It's about 5 years. What does that do for us? Not much. What is baseline on source? Does it help out to go back to special? Let's see. It does in this case, right? What does special look like if we just restrict it to a year? Because 5 years, it looks good on longs, right? Let's take a look at that. 2018, let's go back to 2023. So we're back just 1 year. What does that look like? Not great. Well, I shouldn't say not great. These held pretty steady, right? These ones didn't. Don't worry about shorts. You'd have to tune that with an entirely different system most of the time. I wouldn't try to fit in the same GKD system for the most part into shorts, even though the signals, the way they're set up, I didn't distinguish them. The signals are very quick and dirty systems, but systems that generally work. So I can get signals out there and have people look at what the system looks like. I don't want to give away the big cheese to everybody publicly. So there you have it. That's how you set them up for the signals. And that's how you set up the whole GKD system. It's that simple. We went through a lot of stuff. We probably tested a total here of, I don't know, 50 or 60 tickers, just like that. If you were to do this alone, that would have taken much longer. So that's the setup of the system. Now, let's take it one step further. So we're going to drop off this multi ticker. We're going to kick out the baseline multi ticker. We're going to go through these and we're going to set these up to confirmation only, no more multi ticker. And then we're going to take a look at something else here. Remember, we're talking about that data trade that is in chat right now. So we have this and we say GKD-B baseline. We're just going to use regular baseline now and GKD-BT, full GKD, the strategy. This is a strategy now, right? Totally different than the multi-ticker. In fact, you would normally want to remove, well, actually, you don't need to. You don't need these anymore. You can delete them if you want to, but it doesn't matter. They won't be read into it. So let's go and find where data is at. Data, USDT, Binance on the top right there. And we're on the daily chart. Yes. And remember, the setup for that was baseline is regular. special trigger, right? And then all of these are already set up. We set them back to um, confirmation. Then we go to the back test and we start filling these in baseline. Instead of doing multi-ticker, because there is no multi-ticker on this baseline to begin with, we do new GKD-BT backtest. That's a baseline right there. Volatility and volume right here. New GKD-BT backtest. Confirmation 1 is chart mill. New GKD-BT backtest. Confirmation 2, Dorsey. And I've got to hurry this up because this video is going to run out, I think, in like 30 minutes. Right there. Dorsey, new GKD-BT backtest. Then we do Dorsey here for continuation because we're not going to use continuations. And then the exit, we don't have to fill that in. The backtest type is long. We go to properties and we say something like 44 trades just to make sure we get all longs. This will open longs. You don't want to trade this way, but this will open up all possible longs and then run the calculation for us. Turn off continuations. There are 4 boxes now instead of 2. Turn off Goldilocks zone because that's how the signal was set up. Remember. And hopefully we don't get cut off here. If we do, then I apologize. But the reason why we'll get cut off is because I'm using TradingView's internal video system because they make MKV format from the get-go, or actually, sorry, WebM format, which makes it much easier to post long videos because they're a smaller size. So we got that. Then we're going to knock this down or knock this up to 2023. We're going to hit 9 right here. And then we have the setup. Let's see what happens here. Now, one thing is this, right? And I'm not going to show it to you right now. Is I can change this to Bitcoin, right? And that would drop this down to 80% and this to 10, like we saw before. But you can see right here these stats. If you remember, when we kept the volatility of data without changing this to Bitcoin, then it was higher stats. So doing the higher stats now with the single back test, right? We're just testing a single one. We see 85% in 14. It matches exactly to what the multi-ticker shows. That's important to understand. If you set these up the right way, these numbers will match, okay? Even though they're independent systems. Now, you might say, okay, sanity check. Am I lying about that? Let's see. No, I'm not, right? You see right there. List of trades. They're all right there, right? So you have double verification. You verified it with the system of TradingView, and you verified it with the multi-ticker, which doesn't use the system, right? These trades, as I said before, it's going to take every single long, even if the previous long hasn't closed, right? So it took a long here. That's a terrible trade. It took a long here. That's probably going to stop out at some point, but not yet because you see right here. Actually, look, it's a double trade right there on the same freaking timeline. That's interesting. So the same stop up here is assigned to this. Actually, it's very nuanced. If you see right here, this is going to freak people out. But you see this green line right here? This green line is attached to this trade right here. And then the green line pops up here. This is attached to the next trade, right? Right there. Right there. Autism special, baby. So keep that in mind if you want to look at this. And with this right here, this is one that you would do something like this. I wouldn't do it with these trades. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're not automating it because you don't want to automate these longs and longs like this. Your broker's probably going to get pissed and it's going to mess you up. But this is to show if all longs were taken, then you do that. If you don't want to do all longs, then you go here to the back test and you say from that to trading. And when you do trading like that, it's going to do longs and shorts. Okay. And I don't know if I set it up that way. I hope I did. Yeah, I think I have it where it takes shorts as well, but I'll have to check that. Anyways, right now with this, oh, you know what? Yeah, we're not going to do that. We'll go over that later. Anyways, with trading, it's now only going to take one at a time. You see how that other long is now nuked? So it's just this long failed. This long, we'll wait for it. Now the profitability goes down, and that's fine. That's not going to always going to be the case. But the reason why we do this, where we show all longs with full, is because we want to test every possible signal that could ever happen to an indicator, right? That's what the point of this is. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Every possible signal right here that comes in, we're testing all of them, right? Every single one of them. If you only want to test one of these signals, what does that look like? What if we just tested one? Just standard entries. You could do that too. And say, hey, what does standard entries look like without all of the other stuff? Well, standard entries, 7. So half of the signals were standard entries, 85% win rate, right? That's pretty good. If we go back and let's see if I can catch another couple signals. I can't believe this thing hasn't kicked me off the video yet. Maybe they upped the time that you can record, but I'm probably getting close to what they'll do here. Okay, so we have that signal. Great. Now we're back to all signals. Now let's go through some of what these mean, right? Standard long, that's SL. C2 right here is a baseline confirmation, I think. No, actually, sorry, it's a pullback confirmation 2. This is a confirmation 2. So confirmation 2 long right there. And why is it a confirmation 2 long? Because confirmation 1 was in the zone, right? It's green. Then confirmation 2 says bloop, popped up right there, long. So you take a long right there, bang. Enter right there, right? Now, it pulled back a little bit here, and it's like a one candle rule, it's called. And it's not a pullback, it's a one candle rule. And then it takes another trade there. Now, you're not going to trade like this in real life. Sorry, it takes a trade right there. Enters here, it takes a trade right here. Now, you're not going to see the signal show up on any of these indicators because this is a very complex signal. The one candle rule right here. We go to C2. Where is it at? Confirmation 2 entry. The one candle rule right here. This is a complex signal. You'll have to go through what that means. But you see that it takes both of them. To show you what they are. We can go back in time. In fact, let me show you something else here. You want to test shorts? Then just flip this around. We'll go to shorts. And shorts aren't going to do well on this one, I don't think, at least. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't, this setup doesn't do well on shorts. But now we flipped everything and we're showing shorts. See? Those longs that we had before, gone. Right? But let's go back to the longs. And let's see if we can find an exotic signal. These are all standard and just regular. Well, this is a volatility entry. What does that mean? It means that right here on that bar, let me see if we can, let's just draw a line there and open up. Crossed up right there. Volatility crossed up. Signal. Bang right there. You enter the trade. You notice this is kind of a nice little thing. This one almost hit SL, but then hit win. This one right here, entered. Nothing. Entered. Nothing. Then finally exited. Win. Another entry. Win. Win. See? Entry. Win. So it looks like these volatility entries are pretty great, right? And if we go back even further and catch more on those, because there's even more volatility entries there that we're not seeing, like these right here, these are probably wins. This one's not a win. And actually, those are 2 losses, right? That's a win right there. Man, that's pretty cool. Another win. And why isn't it going back all the way? Let's see. That's a loss. But then take a look at here. If you were to ride this sucker up, wins all the way through. Look at all those signals that came through. Boom. Beautiful. These ones right here are shorts, even though they're not going to show up on the screen. But there you have it. So what we've done today is I showed you how to set up the signals from Telegram and Twitter and how to match those to real indicators and how that works. And then I showed you how to match them even deeper on a single basis where we did it right here and it matched, right? Now we're going to try one other thing here because I want to see if it actually works. And I think it does. Let's try to change this to Bitcoin volatility and see if we can do that. I tested this on other ones and it should work, but if it breaks, then it's something I have to fix. No, it worked. So because we used Bitcoin volatility in the signal, right? If we go into the voltmeter and we change this to Bitcoin, the ticker, then it transfers through the Bitcoin volatility. And now we have the signal from Telegram and Twitter right there, 10 and 80. So, anyways, folks, that's it. This is a very long video. I hope you enjoyed the ranting and autism. I have to get better at doing these videos because I'll be doing live videos soon. So they will get better over time. These are just quick and dirty so everybody can see what's happening. But I will talk to you again later. Have a good day. Bye.